Welcome back to Tusi TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and the Islamic Republic of Iran have officially poked the bear. That is the United States of America and also Qatar. Qataris are not too happy about what's going on right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, over the last few minutes, the Iranian regime have launched a number of ballistic missiles towards the US bases, specifically in Qatar. There is also chaos across the region. We've got Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq. Sirens are going up, and obviously the airspaces have now been closed. They are also waiting for an attack from the IRGC. The Islamic Republic gave a bit of a notice in advance to the Americans before they tried to hit Qatar. Regardless of that, the state of Qatar are furious, and they are now threatening to hit Iran, which is absolutely fascinating. Let's give you guys the latest update on this, and of course, get your reaction in the live chat and in the comment section. So, first we started hearing the update in regards to the airspace. We had a number of flights for Doha Airport in Qatar that were diverting. And because they knew what was going to happen. According to the media reports, the airspace will close very quickly. The reason for this was because the Iranian regime actually gave a bit of a heads up to the Americans before they attacked. The reason for that was because the Islamic Republic are terrified of the backlash. So they thought, what we have to do, we have to attack America. We're going to have to do it because our own supporters are going to kick off if we don't. But we don't really want to hit America, because if we hit America, then they're going to destroy us. So we're going to let the Americans know in advance that we're going to, just for show. Qataris still didn't like it. They said that you violated our airspace. We've got a number of videos we're going to go through. So initially we had the GPS disruptions across the region, especially in the Persian Gulf, in Qatar and parts of Iran. And then the missiles came. Let's go to the first video.
La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Southwest, coming from the direction of Al-Udaid. Windows are shaking. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Probably Patriot.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is breaking news. It's still developing. If you're watching this live, we're all on the same journey right now. It's a bit of it's kind of funny because the Islamic Republic just came out to say, we have destroyed the US base in Al-Udaid, the air base. Well, we now have confirmation from both the Americans and the Qataris that obviously all missiles were intercepted and nobody was injured and nothing was hit, and yeah, everything's fine. They're still monitoring that. Although we are also getting confirmation from Bahrain. They have closed the airspace in Bahrain. Same situation in Iraq. High alert. We're going to show you some videos from Bahrain as well. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the supporters and members of the IRGC in Tehran are celebrating. This is so funny. I can't even take this seriously, guys. Let me show you. What is this? All right. So what we're going to do, if I could find this, hang on, stay with me, guys. You're going to want to see this. Has this been downloaded? The Iranian regime. Oh, yes, we've got it. All right. So I'm just going to put this on first, before I show you the rest of the ballistic missiles and what's actually been going on. The Iranian regime on the streets of Iran are celebrating because they've been told that the Iranian army have managed to destroy the US base. Watch this. So they got a handful of their own members and their families and whatever to come out the streets to celebrate, pretending that the Iranians are celebrating. This is so funny. All right, so the Al-Udaid air base was targeted. 10 missiles initially were reported that were launched towards Qatar. Let's go to the next video from Qatar and see what happened.
Allahu Akbar. Madam.
That poor Qatari guy was terrified. He had to go inside. All the missiles were intercepted. Meanwhile, Medvedev, ladies and gentlemen, the former prime minister of, former president of, well, it doesn't really matter at this point, former president of Russia, Medvedev, and also PM, has backtracked. Yesterday, he was going around saying Russia is going to be giving nuclear to Iran. And obviously everyone was like, what? President Trump not happy about that. So Medvedev has now responded saying, regarding President Trump's concerns, I condemn the US strikes on Iran. It failed to achieve its objectives. However, Russia has no intention of supplying nuclear weapons to Iran. Of course, the Russians are terrified of what their President Trump is going to be doing, despite all these weird briefings to the media, the press, that, oh, Russia is going to get involved. They're just completely scared of what could happen. Interceptions in Doha, Qatar, continued for a while as the missiles were being brought down very easily because there weren't really that many. Let's go to the next video. They just made a bit of fireworks on top of Qatar. Now, as I said, the Qataris are not too happy. According to Al Jazeera, which is basically Qatar, they have now said that they reserve the right to defend themselves. They are essentially threatening to retaliate against the Islamic Republic. Qataris helped the Americans, and because, of course, the new friendship between the President Trump and Qataris, they've been dragged towards the US side. And they said, well, we're not too happy about what the Iranian regime did in our sovereign area, so we are now threatening the Islamic Republic. So everybody else in the region is saying, everybody calm down, there's no need. The Iranian regime, there are paper tigers. They just launched like 6 or 10 missiles. Nothing actually happened. Leave them alone, because they simply want to save face that, oh, look, we attacked the Americans. They want to basically create a propaganda inside their country saying, look, we are doing this. In fact, we do have a quick statement, so we have a bigger statement, but this is a short statement from the IRGC saying Operation Fatah's Blessing, that's a terrible name, against the American Al Udeid base in Qatar has been successful. Operation Fatah's Blessing. It's a little bit camp, but okay. Sirens are now being sounded across Bahrain and Kuwait, as well as, of course, Iraq. We're going to talk about Iraq as well. They're all on standby. The Qataris have also are monitoring the airspace at this point. Let's quickly go to the next video, because some people are thinking that the Iranian regime might launch a couple of more missiles towards Kuwait, Bahrain, and Iraq. Just a calm, chilled night at this point. The airspace over the UAE has now also been closed. We can confirm that planes have now been diverted after the initial missiles that were launched towards Qatar. And now Iraq, we can now confirm the missile attacks across Iraq as well, which is obviously to the west of Iran. So a lot of the flights have now been diverted away from the region. Who is ready to hear the craziest statement from the Islamic Republic? We're going to read you that statement, then we're going to read you what the Qataris are saying, because Qatar is a little bit pissed. All right, first, the IRGC. Following the blatant military action an aggression of the criminal regime of the United States of America against the peaceful nuclear facilities of the Islamic Republic. I'm not joking, but I'm just reading what they said. They literally said largely peaceful nuclear facilities. They didn't even say largely. Fully peaceful. Attack against the peaceful nuclear facilities of the Islamic Republic of Iran and the clear violation of international law by the order of the Supreme National Security Council and the leadership of the central headquarters, the IRGC, with the sacred code of something Arabic, which is Ya Aba Abdullah Al-Hussein for some reason, not really sure why. The IRGC has started targeting the Al Udeid base in Qatar with a devastating and powerful missile attack in Operation Fatah's Blessing. This base is the headquarters of the Air Force and the largest strategic asset of the U.S. terrorist army. Terrorist army? Did you just call the U.S. military the terrorist army? That's brilliant. Okay, fair enough. The message of this decisive action of the sons of the nation in the armed forces is clear for the White House. This is the message. The Islamic Republic of Iran, relying on God Almighty, relying on the faithful and famous people of the Islamic Iran, famous people, will not leave its territorial integrity, sovereignty, and national security unanswered under any circumstances. With the aggression of the American enemy, it became clear to everyone that the evil of the Zionists, why did the Jews get involved, was an extension of the America's design. Accordingly, we remind you that in this national defense, the US bases and mobile military targets in the region are not a point of strength, but rather a major weakness. Okay? On the eve of the month of Muharram, the month of mourning for the leader commander of the martyrs. Oh my God, what is this? Something Al-Hussein. We once again warn the enemies of the Islamic Iran that the era of hit and run is over. It's just run now, I'm guessing. No more hit and run. And the will of the country is a powerful people's armed forces. Any repetition of US aggression will lead to the acceleration of the collapse of the US military pillars in the region. All right, so the Iranian regime are saying that they've destroyed the airbase, which they haven't, and they called the American army terrorist army and the enemy, and they also called them Jews for some reason. And now they're saying hit and run is over, so don't attack us anymore. So you literally did hit and run. That's literally what they did. I mean, it wasn't even a hit, miss, and run. That's what the Iranian regime did. I don't know what's going on here. But the Qataris are furious. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Qatar, who defended the Americans over the last hour. Oh my God, Saudi Arabia is getting involved, guys. Saudi Arabia have also joined Qatar, and they are now threatening the Islamic Republic. Basically, within 5 minutes, the Iranian regime have managed to make everybody their enemy. The whole of the Middle East now wish that the IRGC falls apart. This is great. So let's go to Qatar before we talk about Saudi Arabia. Qatar says, the state of Qatar strongly condemns the attack that targeted Al Udeid airbase by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. We consider this a violation of the sovereignty of the state of Qatar, its airspace, international law, and the United Nations Charter. We affirm that Qatar reserves the right to respond directly in a manner equivalent with the nature and scale of this brazen aggression in line. Hang on, the problem is that the Qataris don't really have a proper army, so I'm not really sure what they're going to do. They could get the Americans to hit, which is basically Qatar is now going to hide behind the US, saying, can you go hit them, please? Because, we can't encourage this behavior. You can't just randomly say, yeah, countries could just come into our airspace and hit bases here. You can't do that. You got Pakistanis next door. If you let the Pakistanis know that you could just violate people's sovereignty, Pakistanis who don't really understand what sovereignty means, they're just going to go randomly attack India again. So it's probably best to completely shut it down now. Qatar is absolutely right to threaten the Islamic Republic while hiding behind the US. Anyway, they are now saying that we reassure that Qatar's air defenses successfully stopped the attack and intercepted the Iranian missiles. A detailed statement regarding the circumstances of the attack will be issued later by the Ministry of Defense in Doha. We also emphasizes that the continuation of such escalations will undermine security and stability in the region, dragged it into situations that could have catastrophic consequences for international peace. We call for the immediate ceasefire, basically. They just want ceasefire. Anyway, there's a longer statement. Qataris are basically shouting at Iran, rightly so. Why on earth would you just make them angry? There's no reason. The Iranian regime are not happy that the Qataris are no longer their friends. That's why they're doing this. Anyway, Bahrain is kicking off. The Interior Ministry in Bahrain have now activated nationwide sirens and urged all citizens and residents to stay calm while sounding the sirens. That's a good idea. And move to safe locations. Let's go to a video from Bahrain and the sirens. If you're watching this from any country, including Israel, that has sirens, just a heads up, in the next 3 seconds, you're going to hear sirens. Maybe lower the volume. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That wasn't too bad. Also, their siren was slightly different to the other countries. Anyway, we also have the another footage from Doha as the Qataris were intercepting the Iranian regime missiles. Let's go and see what we were dealing with. Not much happened. There was actually, this one shows a burning missile because it was a bit of a debris that fell on the side of the highway in Doha. Watch. Well, that could have gone very, very wrong, badly. If he had accidentally dropped on one of the cars, the state of Qatar would have gone mental on the Iranian regime. Now, panic. The next video shows the panic in Doha as the civilians in Qatar were running away from these missiles. Let's go. There's poor people in Qatar just doing their own shopping and living their lives, and like, why are we getting involved in this? Why? So obviously it was a good thing that the state of Qatar did help the US bases. It was also good that one of the main reasons was, as I said, the Iranian regime had to inform the Americans 2 hours in advance, okay? And because they were terrified of, in case if even one American is harmed, the president is going to go crazy. The problem is, they're still going to go crazy. We're just getting confirmation that the Americans are getting ready for retaliation. We have to get the confirmation from the White House. But also the Israelis have now started the retaliation on behalf of America and Qatar. They are now destroying more bases in Tehran, the capital of Iran. Let's go, in terms of President Trump, he's still in the White House. He was in a situation room monitoring the retaliation as the US fighter jets are now scramble from Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. So it seems like the US Air Force are also preparing. They're trying their best to mobilize. You can probably slowly say to the IRGC, bye-bye, because the president is alpha and he's not going to let this be the last, but he's not going to allow Iran to have the last word. It just can't. He's going to have to hit them again. Whether he's just going to... there are two options. One is the Americans could just hit something in Iran. The other option is for the president to say, no more even potential talks or negotiations. It's done. We're just going to step back and let Israel finish the job. And he could just proactively endorse Israel. He could do that, and that way he won't come across as a pro-war president, right? Or he could just say, well, I have to defend my people. If they were targeted in Qatar and now apparently in Iraq, well, we're going to have to go in. We're going to have to, well, not boots on the ground. We're going to have to hit them again. So, and also considering that the Iranian regime are so weak right now because the Israelis are doing the dirty work on behalf of everybody else in the world, All you have to do is just hit a couple of more bases. And the good thing about the Americans is that they do have more advanced technology in terms of what they can use to hit. So if I were the Americans, I would go after the remaining nuclear sites, probably hit Fordo again, although Fordo has been hit by Israel over the last few hours after what happened last night, because it wasn't fully destroyed, but it was completely damaged. Israel estimates that over 60% of the Iranian missile launchers have now successfully been destroyed as of this evening. We have the latest video from the IDF showing their massively successful operation when it comes to the ballistic missile launcher whack-a-mole game. Let's quickly go and see what so this is what they've done. More missile launchers getting targeted across the country. The thing is, the Israelis have to wait for the missile launchers to be brought out and then hit them, because of course the Iranian regime have been hiding them because they don't want them to be in plain sight. It will be too obvious every time they bring them out. The Israelis find the location and just destroy them. All right, Saudi Arabia vows full support for Qatar. Well, obviously that's true. UAE has also now joined. So UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United States. This is like a really weird version of Avengers. We have a quick statement from the White House. The White House officials said the Trump administration was expecting an Iranian response, we know that, after the US strikes on its nuclear sites. Trump does not want further military intervention in the region. So he's not going to hit. I mean, he says one thing, he does the other thing, by the way, you never know. But it seems like he might just allow Israel to continue. But President Trump can't allow the Iranian regime to be seen as victorious. So obviously, as I said, the Iranian regime did inform the Americans 2 hours in advance. They had to save face. But the president is highly likely at this point to say, well, we can't really negotiate with you guys. You just called the US Army terrorists. So that's the best that the Americans could do. Not one single missile, Iranian missile, has hit any of their targets, including the airbase in Qatar. So basically, it was a fake attack. Although in Bahrain and Kuwait, they are still on standby. They are terrified, so they've closed their airspace and they are sounding the sirens. We will wait to see if something will happen in Bahrain. Unlikely in Bahrain, but obviously Iraq is a different situation because you got the Hezbollah of Iraq also attacking. Saudi Arabia have now slammed the missile attack on Qatar, also calling it a violation of international law. Riyadh have now said that we stand in full solidarity and support with Qatar. That's a first. And we are ready to back Qatar with all our capabilities. It will be absolutely fascinating, considering what the White House just said. By the way, this was a US official in the White House. If you have noticed over the last few weeks and few months, a White House official would say one thing to the media, then the president comes out and says something else, right? And then the president would do something very different. But if we go with what the White House official has said, okay, America's not going to do anything, right? But the Americans are clearly in touch with Saudi, with Qatar, and all the other allies. Saudi Arabia seems very angry. Why? Right? I mean, apart from their dislike of the Iranian regime. Why are they so passionately defending Qatar? I wouldn't be surprised if at this point, Saudi decide to attack the Iranian regime in retaliation. I mean, it will be difficult to see how that could happen. That would seem a little bit OTT, but I wouldn't be surprised because the Saudis are saying, we will back Qatar with all our capabilities. I don't know, maybe they're talking about PR or something like that. Let's have a look to see. Okay, oil prices are now finally going down more than 5%. So, wow. Brent crude has now gone down 5.8%. Natural gas is also down 4.11%, the US blend. Okay, so we will wait for the developments and the reaction from the markets on this. And while we do that, we have a statement. There we go. President Trump has a statement for us. Oh, it's posted. Oh dear. He's going to tell. He's just going to say they told me and nothing actually happened and everything's fine, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Let's see. All right, let's put the statement of the president on the screen. The sites that we... Oh, what's this? That's a different one. Okay. Is that now? All right. Why is that now? The sites that we hit in Iran were totally destroyed and everyone knows it. Only the fake news would say anything different in order to try and demean as much as possible. And even as they say that they were pretty well destroyed, working especially hard on this falsehood is Alison Cooper of Fake News CNN, Don Brian L. Roberts, chairman of Comcast, Johnny Carl of ABC Fake News, and always the losers of, again, Comcast's NBC Fake News. It never ends with the sleazebags in the media, and that's why their ratings are at an all-time low. Zero credibility. I love that. This is the priority for the president, going after the media, and I agree with him, by the way. Now, the Iranian regime have now published a show-off video. Oh my God, this is funny. So they did that again with Israelis when they launched against Israel. This is what they've done tonight when they attacked Qatar and Iraq. It's so embarrassing because they only launched a few. It's not like they launched 100, so they have to like film from different angles. Like, yeah, that's a new one. That's a new missile. The Iranian defense minister is kicking off again. We are determined to punish the aggressor, reject forced peace, and consider Washington a source of crises and instability. And then why did you only launch like 6 missiles? And why did you let them know in advance, 2 hours in advance? They just talk nonsense. They know they can't fight America. That's why. Anyway, what's going on with you guys? Before I forget, we have officially launched the tickets to our upcoming New Media Conference 2025 on the 9th of August. Everything is about to change. We are launching a new media revolution against the corrupt, sleazebags, lamestream fake news media, as the president would say. 9th of August in London, join us. Go on 2cevents.tv or find the link in the description. 2cevents.tv. Get your early birds tickets now. We're getting all the good people from around the world, new media outlets joining us. We got Visegrad 24 coming from Poland. We got the Post Millennial coming from the US, and we've got a couple of people from Scandinavia. We got a few people. We got everyone coming. Everyone's coming. Emily Schrader from Israel is coming. Of course, in the UK, we got Dan Wootton, many others, Andrea Walker. It's going to be a great conference. We're going to have panels. We're going to have music. We're going to have game shows. We're going to have drinks. It's going to be a whole day of fun. So book your tickets, 9th of August, early birds tickets. The prices are going to go up. So do it now. The link is in the description. What's going on with the live chat? RIP your beautiful hair. I know it went too short, didn't it? I finally cut the hair. It's gone too short. It's fine. Give me about a week and a half. I'll grow it. The Rising Lion seems like a good name for your pub. Actually, it's not too bad, is it? Mike says, thank you, Maya, for providing us in the US with real news content regarding the Iran-Israel conflict. Keep up the great work. But it's no longer Iran-Israel. It's Iran, Israel, US, Qatar, Bahrain, Iraq, Saudi, Kuwait, everybody. Oh, hello. Kuwait is kicking off as well. Speaking of the devil, we now have confirmation that the US have now issued travel alert for Kuwait, restricting access. All right. So the State Department have now updated their travel alert for Kuwait. The US embassy staff have now been told to stay sharp and follow new military restrictions. And access to a number of camps have now been limited to essential personnel only. Everybody out in Kuwait, basically. MT says, apparently they gave a 12-hour warning. Yeah, but they officially said 2 hours, but yeah, apparently it was much longer than 2 hours. They were terrified. What is this? Okay. Anyway, we have another one saying either way, RIP Islamic Republic. Yeah, I mean, regardless of anything, they're dead. Oh God, the Gulf officials are kicking off, saying all the ties between Iran and the Arab world is now being destroyed. All the diplomatic ties. Good luck rebuilding that. Iran wants to unleash the neocons and John Bolton. John Bolton, yeah. Isn't John Bolton supporting the MEK for some reason? Qatar that supports Hamas is being shot by Iran. This is so crazy you couldn't write it. I know. It's been a roller coaster the last few days. Are we sure Trump isn't secretly part Persian? He's so good at chess. That's true, actually, yeah. Did you get a cat who is scratching your face? Yeah, that's actually, that's what I do. Literally, I do it when I sleep. I don't really know what I dream about. Because I'm one of the people, when I wake up, I don't remember my dreams. But I know I've had some dreams. I scratch myself in sleep. I can promise I'm not a victim of domestic abuse. Especially by a cat. But no, I do to myself. Oh, I should have just said, I've been fighting the IRGC and they've been scratching me. We should see the other guy's face. Tracy says that a British RAF has started Engine Squadron 29 due to British troops being at the bases attacked. As the British are at the American bases. Yeah, it's true. They have to be careful. I mean, 6 missiles, who cares? Buy some Dax Wax at Blue Tin. And Jerry says, great reporting. Thank you, Jerry Scott. And Patrick says, didn't Qatar hide Hamas leadership for Iran? Yeah. I mean, they say they didn't do it for Iran, they did it for Hamas, but same thing, right? There's a rumor going around that Iran had a deal with Trump. He takes out the nuke sites and then gets one free reaction where no one gets hurt. No, the deal was not pre-nuke. The deal is post-nuke. The deal was post-Fordo. That's why the Iranian regime informed the Americans well in advance that they were going to hit the airbase in Qatar, so the Americans will be on standby. They were terrified. They were like, well, we can't actually hit the Americans properly, so we're going to let them know. And we're going to tell our supporters in Iran that we destroyed the airbase, which is what they're doing now. Any plans to arm the Iranian people? Well, yes, we have to wait for a few days because apparently there is a plan. Well, they are armed, as in the armed forces who are defecting to the Crown Prince's side. The senior Iranian official has now told Reuters that the Iranian regime will continue its retaliation in response to the US attack. So that means, guys, get ready for more retaliation in other countries, including probably Kuwait or Bahrain or Iraq again. What is the point? You got Israel to deal with. Just ignore America. It's not worth it. War terrifies me. Thanks for making this comedy gold. You're going to have to. There's the point of 2CTV. It's all doom and gloomy. But you got to keep fighting and you got to keep going. Keep calm and carry on, basically. Bring some humor into it. Otherwise, people get depressed. Stu says, Trump doesn't want military escalation in the same way I don't want to be so good looking. We all have to cross to bear. That's the truth. Literally, that's Trump's mentality. Trump said he's not going to attack Iran before and ended up bombing all their nuclear sites. Do you think he's bluffing again and will retaliate? I think it's a bit of a bluff and a bit of a final warning to Iran, saying don't attack again. I know what you did here. We let you do it. But if you do it again, I'm going to go crazy. Seems like the Iranian regime want to do it again, by the way. Keep it up. Hybrid says, thank you. What did Qatar do? I missed the beginning. US here. So, Qatar helped the Americans to intercept the missiles. And now they're furious because they have to spend money on that, the air defense, to hit the Iranian missiles. So they're angry now. So they're now threatening the Iranian regime. They're not gonna actually attack Iran, obviously. It's just the war of words. That's all. Still handsome, even with the new haircut. Thank you, Nina. And we got Mojo as well. Oh, God, what's happening? There we go. All right, let's get some comments from the members of 2CTV Plus. Where are you guys? Become a member, by the way. Download the 2CTV app. You get access to everything on there. All right. Now that the gates of hell have been opened, I wonder how many people, local and foreign nationals, long thought dead, may suddenly reappear. That's true. But yeah, in terms of the Evin prison, right? Maya changes his haircut for each live stream. It costs a lot of money. Join 2CTV Plus to help him fund his hairstylist. I don't do that, but okay. But yes, download the 2CTV app today. Look at this beautiful app. Download the 2CTV app. And also, if you join on our website, 2c.tv, you get 1 month free if you join as an annual subscriber. Go on 2c.tv. But also, don't forget, as I said, we've now launched the early birds tickets to the New Media Conference 2025, 9th of August in central London. We are bringing everybody together from all around the world. The first ever international New Media Conference with all the new media outlets, all the sound, right-wing, fascist, everybody, all of them are here. Get your tickets. It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. 9th of August. Go on the website, 2cevents.tv. Check out the details for yourself and then decide what to do. Early bird tickets, it's not going to last that long, by the way. Do you think Qatar is only siding with the US because the Iranian regime is falling? The reason that the Iranian regime is falling is because Qatar also joined America months ago. The whole point of the President Trump basically dragging Qatar towards America over the last couple of months was this, to basically isolate Iran, to make sure the Iranians don't have any more friends in the region. And now they're alone, now they're on their own. And basically Trump promised Qatar, we're going to make you richer and we're going to have a good relationship with Saudi and everybody else. And whether you like it or not, Abraham Accord is coming, get used to it. And the Qataris said, okay. Obviously, you can't trust the Qataris, but you have to keep an eye on them and just give them money. They deserve to kick their butts kicked for letting the US know in advance of this symbolic attack. The world is better off without these loons. You know, yeah, how scared are they that they have to let the Americans know about a fake attack? Ugh. Now they're getting ready to attack more bases. A big fan of your coverage. Besides the pub names, you should have signature dishes and drinks. I recommend the Israeli airstrikes, a shot of Israeli whiskey. Is that a thing? Draft there in a pint of Gold Star beer. I do like Gold Star beer, actually. When you open your pub, do Israelis drink free? It's the most Jewish thing you've said. Yeah, but I know you get discounts. Israelis will get discounts for liberating Iran, I guess. You want free drinks, classic. Anyway, Iran is just adding extra enemy countries to the list at this point, that's true. Also, nice haircut, so I can't be nice. Oh, that's the Viking, that's my own, that's the 2CTV's official security guard, Bouncer, Bouncer, I just called him a bouncer. Security. Yes, thanks for that. So yeah, now I can call you Bouncer. Amazing. The IRGC have an entire 50 supporters left to show up on the streets. I mean, it was kind of interesting because obviously they told their people to come out. And we know they don't have many supporters. Having said that, they only brought out a few people. They're all terrified. They're all scared. They said, I don't really want to go out. We're going to get bombed again. Anyway. Qatar cares more about money than their IRGC cronies. Exactly. Basically, Trump told them a couple of months ago, Iran's going to go in a minute. Do you want money or do you want to just die ideologically? And the Qataris said, oh, okay, fine. I wasn't in the room, but that's the gist of it. I've got my sunglasses and umbrella and I'm here for the party. Let's see these Arab countries show the world where their alliance lean. Yes, it's about time the Arabs man up. I think the IRGC members want to die as fast as possible so they can meet up with their 72 goats. Yes. Something about haircuts and the US tax. Yep. What if the IRGC's bunkers are more complex than we know? It's unlikely, but you never know. Maybe. It doesn't really matter because when the Iranian people, well, if they take control, they're just going to go in and drag them out. They can't stay in there forever. Anyways, a lot of other comments here as well. Does your barber work for the IRGC? Is it because they completely destroyed my hair? I know. I was betrayed by my own barber. Anyway, there's a couple of more super chats. I'll get back to members. Getting bullied again because of my hair. RG says, summarizing the past 2 weeks, IRGC are the weakest of all the threats that the week encountered. What a waste of money that the regime is. The fact that they keep lying and trying to show face is just ridiculous. It is. I would have had more respect for them if they were actually strong, but it's weak and feeble. Roughly how much of the population of Iran backs the IRGC? 5%. That's, by the way, still a few million people because it's a 90 million population. But yeah, not that many. Ali Khamenei needs to go. Yes, he does. It's time to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. I need to go grow my hair and come back. Don't forget, early bird tickets for the New Media Conference 2025 on the 9th of August in central London. Get your plane tickets, get to London, it's worth it. We are starting a new revolution after we finish the Iranian revolution. The new media revolution against the mainstream media. Go on 2cevents.tv. You'll find all the details, all the information about the actual conference. Just check it out first. If you like it, get the tickets. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya Tousi, and we are the media.